Happy Sunday. It was a beautiful 60 degrees sunny day here in Colorado. So I hope wherever you are, you had some sun today. So last time I came live, I chatted about some ideas for healthy holiday eating habits and movement habits and what that might look like over the holidays. And so I wanted to kind of continue on that topic today and talk about some habits that to think about being consistent over the holiday season. So, a big thing with the holiday season is often our schedules look a lot different. Our environments often look a lot different. And so, all these healthy habits that we work really hard to become consistent with in our day to day routines might be a bit more challenging when we are in, some of these new environments. And so, what I want to bring to you today is just a few tips to start thinking about to help you keep those habits consistent over, this kind of wacky holiday season when things look a little bit different. Um, and, although they might not look the same as your normal day to day routine, um, what's important here is that we're still working towards those habits, and then when we come back from the holidays and we get back into our normal routines, it's going to be a lot easier to ease back in if we keep prioritizing the habits that we already have in place. So the first tip I have for you today is to focus on fiber. So fiber is a nutrient that packs a really big punch in making sure that we stay full, we stay regular and balanced, especially when we may be eating differently than you normally do, during this season. So, looking for fiber at holiday gatherings. So there may be some fruit or nuts on like charcuterie boards or leafy greens in those festive holiday salads. Seeds too are often in a lot of salads or side dishes. And then also looking for fiber in whole grains. So one of my favorite things is like a seasonal oatmeal for breakfast, or overnight oat for breakfast. So using some warm spices like cinnamon, nutmeg, and all those good spices to kind of bring in the season, but also pack that fiber punch as well. And then speaking of oatmeal, another tip I have for you is keeping up with a healthy breakfast. So aiming for a high fiber breakfast and a high protein breakfast will really help keep blood sugar levels steady during the morning and keep you feeling satisfied until lunchtime. So, thinking of whole grain cereals, oatmeal, fresh fruit, eggs with veggies, those are all really good breakfast options. And, a lot of the times during the season, we may have lunches out or dinners out or have, a holiday gathering to go to. But more often than not, our breakfasts are something that we are able to have more control over. And so, prioritizing those high fiber, high protein foods can make a big difference in your day. Next tip I have is to prioritize plants. So really striving for some variety, aiming for at least five different fruits and vegetables daily to really get that variety, get a bunch of nutrients in, and this will also help keep your appetite in check. And fruits and veggies are full of antioxidants, which are going to help optimize your immune system. And it is cold and flu season, so we definitely want that. And Coach Ashley actually has a ton of really great tips in her live video from a couple of weeks ago to boost your immune system. And that variety in fruits and veggies is definitely a big one in there. So I encourage you to check that out too. But really aiming for at least five different fruits and veggies in our day can make a big difference. Next tip is to hydrate. So we definitely want to make water our friend during the holiday season. It's going to help us be energized. It's going to help wear off hunger, and it can really support our immune systems as well. And this is a big one because, again, when we might not be so much in control of what we're eating or what's served, or if we're going out to dinner, water is usually always an option. So, waking up and having a glass of water and drink some water with meals can be a really great way to, stay hydrated throughout the day. And, in general, aiming for 8 glasses or 64 ounces is going to be, a good spot to be and, give your body what it needs to stay, nice and hydrated. Speaking of drinks, another thing is, really to think about your drinks. So if you choose to drink alcoholic beverages or sugar sweetened beverages, try to do so in moderation, especially with alcoholic beverages. We want to alternate those with water to make sure, we are staying hydrated, like I mentioned before. And alcohol can have an impact on our sleep as well. So we want to, do that in moderation so we can support ourselves and our immune systems and, find that balance as well. Next tip, practicing mindfulness. So this may be one to prepare yourself ahead of time for big gatherings. Think about, what you want that gathering to look like and what you can do to support yourself to, leave that gathering feeling, energized and not, overly full or wishing we might have did something differently. So, give yourself some time to prepare. And big thing here, don't arrive hungry. That might mean maybe having a healthy snack before you go, which is going to help you be less likely to overeat and help you focus on the foods that you really do want to eat during the gathering, rather than overindulging and maybe not feeling so great afterwards. Next tip is to keep a routine with movement. So again, this may look a little bit differently, but if you do have a consistent routine with movement or that's something that you're working really hard toward, plan ahead for what that might look like. It may not be going to the gym every day or, how many ever times a week you do go, but think of ways that you might be able to get more movement in to keep that routine. So Coach Lauren's live video from last week had a ton of great ideas for how to get in more general movement. A few being, parking the car further away, pacing when you're on the phone, cleaning, yard work, all those fun things. And then, just adding movement to general things we're already doing, or, even going outside and playing around. Big ways to get more movement in your day. Again, it might not look the same as it normally does, but that's okay. The big thing here is that we're keeping in that habit of general movement. And then the last tip I have is aiming to keep consistent with your sleep schedule. So try to aim to have a similar sleep schedule, going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time, since that is a habit that, can be difficult to build and, have a routine with. So keeping that as steady as possible can be, important. But if it does need to change, like you may be going to bed later, you may be waking up later or anything like that, in general, just try to aim for at least 7 to 8 hours to maximize your sleep and get all the good benefits of good sleep. So again, these tips are all for you to, think it over and see which ones might, help you keep your consistent habits while we're over this kind of crazy holiday season. By no means do you need to do all of these, but some of them might be helpful to, help you ease back into your normal routine once the holiday season is over. So I hope you found them helpful and have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Bye, everyone.